Hi everyone. We're looking at the writing process, the second part of the lecture on the writing process. Earlier we have looked at pre-writing techniques, all right? So that's the first stage in the writing process. The second and the third stages have not been dealt with, whereby we have to look at the writing of the first draft and revising. All right. So let's recap what we have done before this. We have actually looked at the structure of writing an essay. We looked at thesis statement, topic sentences, and supporting details. And we also look at writing process, the pre-writing techniques, all right, whereby we have pre-writing, questioning, making a list, clustering, and scratch outline. And I remember asking you to focus on clustering. Okay, I gave you a topic, and I asked you to do a diagram to develop the points that you would like to use for that particular topic, and then I ask you to prepare a scratch outline or an outline that consists of a thesis statement, topic sentences, and supporting details. All right. So those are the things that we have been doing, and yes, for the writing process, the pre-writing techniques, there are two writing techniques that I find very good for you to use when you are writing an essay or you want to teach your students to write an essay, is making a list and clustering. So making a list looks like this, whereby you list all the points that you would like to use, and clustering will be in the form of a diagram. But remember, I told you that clustering is something that I prefer because it organizes your thoughts. All right, it's easier because when you want to write an essay, you have to organize your points. You have to have topic sentences, supporting details. So when you cluster your points, it's already well organized and well thought. All right. So remember, this is at the stage of the pre-writing stage. It has not gotten into the writing of the first draft, but it's moving towards that. So you have a diagram with all the points that you want to use, and then you have an outline. You, with all those points that you have presented in the form of a diagram, you put them in a form of an outline like this, whereby you have your thesis statement, topic sentences, and supporting details. All right. So basically, in producing the first draft, you have to go through the stages here. You have to go through pre-writing, and you have done that. You have done that clustering of the ideas that you want to present, and then you have to write an outline. Also, you have done that, right? You have written an outline, and you have also written the first draft. You sent it to me before the 24th, right? So you have written your first draft. So you have completed this stage, all right? So in writing the first draft, although you have submitted your first draft, this is to tell you what it looks like actually. The first draft, it comes from the outline that you have written, all right? Then you use that outline to write your first draft, all right? Because some people, they have a problem with writing when they do not have ideas and they don't know how to start. That's why we have to start with that pre-writing technique, that clustering, and then we have an outline so that we can see clearly how we are going to present our points, and then we write the first draft. While writing the first draft, you would have additional thoughts and details, so you can put in all those while writing the first draft. Okay, so don't worry if you hit a snag or an obstacle while writing the first draft. There may be times whereby you do not know what you should put, or you're not sure what would be a supporting detail here. So you just leave it blank, and then you add a comment saying that, okay, I'll do this later, so that you remember that you have to complete this part, all right? But you cannot do it now because you can't think of what you should write or include. So don't worry about that. So whichever part that you're not sure about, you put that do it later or do later. All right. Again, all right, don't think about grammar, punctuation, or spelling. They're not important here. Just the most important thing is the goal of writing this first draft is to state content clearly, is to take all those points that you have written in your outline and then state them clearly in the first draft. And not only state the topic sentences clearly, you also want to develop the topic sentences, develop the content. And how do you develop the content? By including plenty of specific details. So the aim of writing the first draft is to do that, to state the points clearly, develop the points, and use a lot of specific details to make it more impactful. All right? Okay. So that's the part that you have done, writing the first draft. So after this, you will have to do revision. What is revising? What is this revising stage? This revising stage is building on what you have already written. All right, you have done that first draft, but now you want to take up things that are not important, things which are not in the right order. You revise it or restructure certain parts of it. So what do? First, okay, you have that first draft, put it aside for a few hours or a day, and then come back to the draft with a fresh view to have a look at it. All right. So once you come back to the draft, you read your draft aloud. Okay, there's this research that shows that when you listen or when you read your draft aloud, you listen to it and you pick up the problems with meaning or styles, any problems that you have with that draft. So try to do that, read aloud, and then try to identify what are the problems. So once you have identified the problems or the things that need to be improved, you can add the comments, all right, maybe above the lines that you have written. Okay, so you have written your essay. So above the line, you write what you need to change. You can cancel certain things, you can add certain things, you change things, all right. You can either write it above the lines or you can have another column on the right whereby you put your comments or feedback in that column, all right. So either way, as long as you put in the comments, all right. So these written comments that you have done will guide you in writing the next draft, all right, which is not going to be like another first draft. Is an improvement of the first draft, all right. So this gives you a more organized way of writing. This doesn't only apply to writing an essay. Okay, it's writing your assignment, writing your reviews, any written work will go through this process, or any written work that you have been assigned, and then you practice this kind of writing process. It will get you towards a written product that is more impactful and effective. All right, so this is a good strategy for you. So in the revising process, it's not just reading aloud and looking at what needs to be done. You have to also structure your revision. You're looking at the content, right? So the points that you have presented, are they unified? Are they well supported? Are they well organized? All right. And then you also look at the sentences, whether they are grammatically correct, your word choice. And then after you have looked at the content and the sentences, the final one is to do the editing. You edit again. This time is you edit the errors in grammar, punctuation, and spelling, which is related to mistakes in sentence skills. Once this is completed, then you would have completed your work, your written work, and you can actually submit it. So these are the process in writing. We have pre-writing, whereby you have that clustering and then writing an outline, followed by writing your first draft. All right, and after you have written your first draft, you have to do revisions. Okay, when you do revisions, you revise the content, you revise sentences, and then you do editing of the mistakes in sentence skills. Once these processes have been completed, then you have a very good piece of written work. Okay, all right, that's it. Thank you everyone for listening.